My service dog is having anxiety because it's windy and the wind is blowing down the chimney. It's a real problem. She's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Kate Swenson's coming on to join me. I just had a haircut, a hair something, got my hair right. And I kind of like it. It's a little blonder than normal. It just kind of perks me up. Hey, Ariella. So Kate Swenson and I, who has Finding Cooper's Voice, we have been trying to do like a live on each other's YouTube every week. We might have missed last week, but this week we are going to do something different. We're going to start on my page, and then at 2:15 we're going to move over to her page, and then next week we'll start on her page first, and then you have to come to my page. Isn't that fun? Lori was hilarious. Yes, Lori. Over on my Facebook page, I had Lori over talking about the fun.
Oh,
do you have your Invisalign in?
I'm on tray 3 and it's really painful. And apparently that's known. Tray 3 is painful.
Already on tray 3? How often do you have to go?
I change every Tuesday.
Do you go every Tuesday?
Nope, they gave me enough I have 20 trays.
And then you'll be done?
So they're very adamant that I am not done. We reevaluate.
How did they look? Did they look better yet?
I think hello everyone. I think they are moving, but this one I'm like really sore.
It's better this week, but the end of last week, I was like bad. Like, and constantly flossing my teeth. Like, it just felt like it was too much.
Yep. How often do you get your hair done?
Every 6 weeks.
Okay, so I believe you on that, but I feel like it's like every week.
I do enjoy it.
Well, I don't blame you. I would too.
Getting a little bald there. Uh-oh, that's not good. So somebody just said, I wasn't going to tell Kate that. Did you know you and Lori were live on Autism Out Loud? So no, I didn't know that. I've taken it down and put it up. I archived it. So I'm doing this video with Lori, and there were 175 people watching, which is good considering that we have 3,000 followers over there. And then I'm like, but where is everyone? I mean, Facebook has gone to hell.
That is so funny.
Mm-hmm. So I archived it because I didn't know how you all would feel about that. Anyway.
Well, I was just listening to the radio yesterday, and there was some housewife, Vicky, housewife of OC. I don't know. I don't watch the show Orange County. Her name is Vicky, I think. No, whatever. But she had a hot mic and didn't know it, and did an interview to this big podcaster who has like bazillion million followers, and afterwards she was like, what a waste of time, like who was that guy, what a waste, and like didn't know it was a hot mic. That is my fear. Like that is like, not even that I would do that, but like what if you were like pick your nose or toot or something.
She tooted. Well, Lori was telling the story, which this morning she was late running to the store, and she had to put on her hazards and fly because the dishwasher was leaking and that was taking time. And so she turned on her hazards and she had to pass this truck on the double yellow line, and the police pulled her over.
Well,
and she said, I had on my hazards.
You can't break the law even if your hazards are on.
Well, then all the policemen, Lori's really cute. So they're like 5 policemen, and then they're all talking. So she calls the police chief, and he's like, Lori, you were breaking the law. She's like, see, y'all are talking. Why don't y'all let me go? So she gets a warning.
Lori, you were breaking the law.
Lori doesn't break laws.
No, I don't think there are laws to Lori.
No, Lori, literally, the captain walked to the back and brought Lori a Bloody Mary.
What?
Have you ever heard of something like this?
No, but that sounds amazing.
I mean, I'm like Premier, and I'm shooty on a shoe. I mean, he's like, here, I brought you something. I'd like to talk about the people who are in their mother's basement. Like the fact that you people have so little to do, and that like some guy has the name Janet Yellen.
Ew.
It's disgusting. And there are a lot of hackers and they're out strong. I got an email today, a DocuSign email. And when you go to click on the DocuSign, it's like you have to log into your email. I'm like, yeah, right, I do.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. You know what I got?
That's a new one.
I got one from Instagram that says you have been picked to have upgraded protection. So just click here, and it looked exactly. I mean, it's so you get how people fall for this stuff. It looks so perfect.
It's constant. Constant. I'm gonna add Tamara. I'm gonna add you as a moderator. Um,
All of our
yeah,
events.
it really is frustrating. And I got tagged yesterday. Some person has like 100,000 followers. She fell for the old, just like I did, podcast. And I have said this many a time now that I know, if anyone offers to pay you on a podcast, it's fake, right? Have you ever been paid to go on a podcast?
No.
So if Kate has not been paid, you are not going to be paid. Unless your name is Alicia Keys, you will not be paid to go on a podcast.
Do you follow Hayden's Hope? Her daughter has that San Filippo syndrome. She's
Yes.
so this is interesting. This is really interesting. So I found her on Instagram because I have a woman in my community whose daughter has San Filippo, which is for anyone
Oh,
watching.
okay.
It's like it's Alzheimer's for kids. It's very sad. It's very very sad. There's no cure.
Okay.
And so I found this Hayden's Hope, and so I followed her, and then it showed up in my Facebook world. So I'm like, oh, I'll follow you on Facebook too. It's been 6 months, a year. I've been following this Hayden's Hope and like interacting. So then I was looking yesterday, and I see in her stories, it's like a picture of like a pimple being popped. And so I click on it just to look at like, why would she post that? There is a scammer that has a fake page of hers that has like 100,000 followers. No one knows it's not her. Like, so I found her real page, and she's like, this is our only page. It has like 50,000 followers. So and I've heard about this before. Her fake page, that's not even her, probably makes more money than her. And she can't get it taken down. I've heard about this in a lot of ways. Isn't that crazy?
It's a problem.
Like you can't like, there are so many fake me's, and I can't get them taken down. Like I like submit a thing and they're like declined.
Oh, look, Michelle Charlie just said it was Jen Hamilton. She has millions of followers on TikTok, but fewer on Facebook. Well, that's even more
Who's Jen?
surprising. That's the person that they tagged me in, but she has millions of followers and hadn't heard about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I get the emails, like I'll have a week of quiet and then they all get ramped up again. And last week I got one and I had to cancel and I said, sorry, I have a funeral. And and the person emailed back, I hope you die.
Oh, oh my god.
And I said, you know, you're going to go to hell.
I mean, that's bold. I hope you die. Oh my
And
god.
then they were like, F you or something. And I said, seriously, you should go tonight when you look in the mirror and say, I am a terrible person. The end.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
Like, what if your life was that's what you did? You just were terrible.
Well, imagine the person that hopped on Lauren and Tara's the naked man. He's just sitting around waiting to be invited onto lives. He's naked right now. He's just naked in a room. That's what he does.
But now I don't begrudge that as much. Like, he's not stealing. He's just jumping on, waving his wheatsy around. And then I got in trouble for doing the movement of the wheatsy moving.
Not even with your thing, with just a prop.
Don't move your hand. I can't help. I got a gimp hand.
Okay, can we talk about some hot topics? Hot topics. What do you think
Yes.
about that United Healthcare CEO?
Well, I can't. I'm in 2 defamation suits currently, so I'm afraid I shouldn't talk. But you go ahead.
Oh, well, I live in Minnesota, and so I mean,
He's from Minnesota, right?
yeah. This is like a big. Yeah, he lives here. Like, are they going to find that person? I mean, and the message on the bullet casings is, wow.
Wait, I didn't know about this. Wait, what does it say?
3 bullets, 3 different words. I'll start with a D.
How do you not know? I've got to go get my other phone.
Get your other phone. They just shared that this morning. There were 3 messages inscribed on the bullet casings.
So who do you think did it?
I think some simpleton that got something declined for his dying daughter or something. What do you think? Do you think it was the wife? I knew it. The wife's statement was like, so sad.
So here's the words found on the shell casings.
Oh,
Okay, let's
deny,
see.
defend, and.
Depose.
But I
So
was thinking that could be in some sort of like denial letter.
that's almost like a jumble. Which word would go first?
Yeah.
Def- Deny, defend, depose, or depose, defend, deny, defend, depose, deny?
Well, so they were saying this morning, if it was a professional, they wouldn't have been at Starbucks. They
It
wouldn't.
was not a professional. They
But
have said that.
he did know how to unjam the gun really quickly.
Yes.
And to get to Central Park, I guess is really smart because New York has the most cameras along with like London, but nothing in Central Park. So once you get there, that story, it's like it's going to be a movie. I mean, that's just like, what if it was like, I'm not going to say anything because we don't want
So
to.
just go with me here, and I'm not giving an opinion. He and his wife had been separated for years. He bought another house to live in near them in 2018.
I love that you know all this already.
It's 2000 and almost 25. Her statement about what happened was, "We were sorry to hear about Brian's death." If your husband gets shot, my husband gets shot, you would never use the phrase "to hear."
Never,
You
never.
would be like, "We're devastated. Thomas was killed." Not,
Exactly.
"We're not devastated to hear."
Exactly.
You say "to hear" because you're trying to push yourself away from the situation. If it was someone in Minnesota that didn't like Brian, they would have killed him in Minnesota. Why do it in New York?
Very true. Very true.
Then you give a statement and you say, here's the statement: "We want," and this is the word she used, "absolute privacy right now." Absolute privacy, not privacy, absolute privacy. Yet she talks to NBC after she says that and says there were threats. And they said, "What were they?" And she said, quote, "Yes, there had been some threats. Basically, I don't know, a lack of coverage. I don't know the details. I just know that he said there were some people that had been threatening him." I can't really give a thoughtful response right now. I just found this out. I'm trying to console my children. "We are shattered to hear about the senseless killing of our beloved Brian."
It's so cold. It's so cold and removed.
I just find it very, very, we appreciate your well wishes and request complete privacy
Hmm.
as our family moves through this.
Fascinating. The fascinating.
It just doesn't make any, I call it the smell test. It's the smell test. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Because if you and the person, well, one, they're going to figure out who it is. You could see the person's face.
Yes, you can. And they were at Starbucks right before. Like someone. Hmm.
Like, I don't know who did it, but I feel like someone paid him to do it.
I know. Fascinating. You're gonna get caught, and you're gonna if you someone that's paid to do something, if they get caught, they're gonna turn over.
You're going to get caught.
There's no
This
loyalty.
is this is the problem. that people like, let's just say I love everybody. I am unwilling to go to jail for most anybody, even my own children. Like,
Mhm.
there was somebody here, their brother was shot. Well, they went out and they killed the person. This is near me. They go out and they murder the person that killed their brother.
Okay.
Well, now their ass is going to sit in prison forever. I am not going to sit in prison. Like, there's
No.
no good that comes of it, right?
Yeah. No. Nope. Nope. But why would someone okay, if you're gonna write something on the bullets, don't you wanna get caught? It's not like just like a senseless murder. It's like there's something they're leaving a to leave a message is the weird part about it.
I think there are things, and it could be a total stranger, nut job, whatever. So maybe so. I could be totally wrong in my like gut, but it does not feel, it doesn't pass the smell test to me. I would write something on the bullets if it were me to try to throw off the trail, like saying there had been threats.
Yeah.
And if they've been separated for years and somebody had been threatening you and you were a gazillionaire, wouldn't you have a bodyguard with you?
Well, I was wondering that because I know he has a private plane. I only know that because my neighbor is a private pilot and he used to fly for Health Partners. So I know that he has a plane. Why wouldn't he have multiple bodyguards? That's a no-brainer. So someone knew he wasn't gonna have someone. Weird.
And I mean, I mean, and it's not like I'm a policeman, but I mean, I know they look at all. I mean, the police, obviously, this is what they look at first. They're going to look at life insurance and policies and all sorts of stuff. But but the research says that, I mean, it's like women, when women die that are pregnant, that's your most vulnerable time of women being murdered, which is
Yeah.
so it doesn't make sense, like
Oh,
you just,
yeah.
and it's majority of the time it is a spouse that does this kind of stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
the research does not lie. It doesn't mean it always is, but it is.
Yeah.
I believe it was a scorned patient, easy to find out he was in town. Michelle, that's just dumb. I don't mean that mean, but like a scorned patient, a young guy in his 20s is not going to fly to New York City and spend all that money to kill him in New York City. He would just kill him at home.
Yeah.
I don't think that makes any sense. I don't think it
Yeah.
makes any sense. The next trial, the Brian Koberger trial, is really going to be something.
That is unbelievable.
It
Like,
it really is, and, when you watch those videos of him, like, getting pulled over with the dad.
so I may just be forgetting this or I have missed it, but did they ever put a connection between Brian and the girls?
Well, he had been following them on Instagram, or at
That
least one of them, maybe Abby.
was they were all beautiful, like stunning children.
Mhm.
And I was just wondering, I think everyone kind of thought, well, maybe they flirted or something, or, something like that happened, a date gone wrong or something.
I think he is a psychopath. I mean, he was doing those weird, like, researchy studies where he was asking his students, like, to answer questions, "Have you ever felt like doing a crime? How does it make you feel?"
Yeah. He's
Dark.
that but like what is taking so long? Why can't they get this going? It's been a year now, right?
There was a deal with the change of venue, um, and I don't know if that ended up getting passed or not. His lawyers were arguing that he needed a change of venue, that he wasn't gonna be able to get a fair trial. And I'm married to a criminal defense attorney, so I love to talk with the criminal defense attorney. But my husband actually most of the time is like, "You're right." Like, I'm like, "Why do these criminal defense attorneys give each other a bad name?" Because the ones on television are like, "My client is innocent." And you're like, they are not."
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Like, "Oh, they weren't doing anything."
Mhm.
You're like, "Yes," especially later when they come out guilty.
So what I guess it's a stupid question. So what happens if they know they're guilty? They still have to defend them?
Well, you don't ever have to defend anybody. Thomas will tell you, you can say no. I mean, they have a legal right to be defended, but not by you.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of had when we first got married, like I'm not being married to somebody that's defending someone who's
Bad. Real bad.
yeah, like there was a case here that was terrible and a mother um and her husband and his brother stopped at the drugstore like an hour from me in Greenville, kind of bigger small town like where I grew up. And they ran in to get diapers and she was in the car with the baby who was like 14 months. And she opened up the door. I mean, this is like literally kind of like Eatonton. And where they were was like a Target and a Chick-fil-A at 12 noon, like no danger at all. And she's changing the baby's diaper, and a man pushes her in the car, carjacks her. They come out and they're like, oh, she's playing a joke. Like, where is she? And takes her to the grocery store, makes her like get beer and cash, and you see these surveillance videos later on. I guess the baby was in the car, so he had threatened her, like, "You better do what I say." Murdered her, left her in a field, and they found the baby alive with her, like, in 3-degree burns, like, very near where I grew up. And I know the
He
attorney that
killed her over beer, and that's what he wanted was
well,
beer.
he killed her because he was, like, and raped her, like, it was terrible, and blunt force trauma, like, terrible, terrible, terrible. And I knew the person that defended her and was like, we're just not taking a case like that. Like, it's not happening. Like, I just can't. No,
No, you can't. No,
no.
that's too
Not
bad.
when you're a mother and have small children. Like, I agree he is entitled to a defense, but it doesn't mean it has to be somebody in this house. Just like you and I might say we have influencing, but what if the Satanic Nation offered me 20,000 to do a video with them? I wouldn't
Mhm.
do it.
Mhm.
I
Well, I'll
mean,
give you an example.
money is
I
not
was
everything.
I was offered a large amount of money to show Cooper wearing pull-ups,
I remember
and
this.
I was like, "No, I will not do it. I will not do it. It would never happen. I don't care if
Right.
really truly there is not a dollar amount where I would put my
Do
13
that to him.
in a diaper." Yeah. And the heart the one weird thing about it is I said, "Can I share about your product because there are people who do need pull-ups at that age.
Agreed.
Can
Right.
we talk about it in a different way?" And they said, "No, we have enough of that covered. We want to show how they fit and stuff." And I was like,
Yeah.
"No."
Then goodbye.
Because, we
You should have been like Sawyer. I'll put all the money in your college account.
yeah,
You
here's
can
yeah,
pretend that it's you.
yeah. But it's like I also was like asked to do this thing and talk about shock treatment. Yeah. So I'm not going to say a name, but there's a pretty big, I wouldn't call her an influencer. I'll tell you off camera, but she's a PhD, big wig, and her son has very severe autism, and they do shock treatment and have amazing success with it. And I was like, I'm not talking about that. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I have my limits.
I don't need to be an open target. I, I'm very tired.
I, I might need a good shock myself. Maybe that would perk me up.
Tell her in a hot mic.
My, what is a hot mic? Oh, is that when you pretend?
Off. No, it's like where you're like Savannah Guthrie and then it goes to commercial, or you keep talking and it keeps playing. It happens a lot. Like, how mortifying.
I'm always concerned that I'm gonna send a text to the wrong person.
Yeah.
You have to watch out for that. And in
I'll
my
tell you.
house, everybody gets each other's texts because we all have the same Apple ID.
Oh, you said that.
It's a
Uh,
real problem.
when I started this is true story. When I started my supporter page on Facebook, which I love and adore, like 6 months in, I did what I thought was a subscriber video. And I was like, you would not believe this email I got. And it was like the meanest email. And I was like reading it and saying names. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh,
I
crap.
have I have done that, but
But
I
you know
didn't
what
do
I
anything
said?
bad.
I said, "If you wanna know the end of the video, come be a subscriber." And I seriously, I grew like hundreds.
That's so smart. We should do that all the time.
Yeah, but I was like, yeah. And just a couple
Well,
weeks ago, I
you're
posted.
very close to 15,000 subscribers on YouTube.
I am. I am right there. Yeah, everyone follow me. Should we go over to my
So
page?
we're going over to Kate's page right now at
Yep.
Finding Cooper's Voice.
Yep.
What?
So literally, we're gonna get off here and then go live on Finding Cooper's Voice on YouTube. So come
Is there
watch
a
over.
way you can can we put comments in here?
What does this do?
I've never, it's bizarre to me that we can't.
But I
It's
can't
very,
on the computer.
oh, I never used a computer.
But we can't go live together on the computer.
We can't?
Not that I know of.
So many rules.
Well, I don't get why.
And you can only have two people talking on YouTube, which is nuts to me.
Yeah. Okay, come to Finding Cooper's Voice right now.
Finding Cooper's Voice. Goodbye.
Bye.